What do we think? We good to go?
Yes.
Yeah.
You good? All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll.
Oh, here we go. One more. Okay, now he's got to sing his high school fight song.
Roll call.
Martini,
Here.
Sinkowitz,
Here.
Grant,
Here.
Dumont,
Here.
Snyder,
Here.
Jennings.
Here. All right. What did it say?
I missed the pledge.
You did.
You missed the pledge. A little bit
You're
too
on the
late.
list now.
He owes us one.
He does.
All right. Agenda additions. What do we got here? Anybody have anything to add to today's agenda?
No.
Nope. No? All right. I think we're good to approve the agenda as is. Okay. Motion to approve the agenda as is, I guess. No changes?
I'll make that motion.
Second. All in favor? Support.
All right.
Aye. Great. Approval of the minutes. I just read them before we got here. It seemed reasonable to me.
Motion to approve?
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All right. Call the public. Keep on, keep it
Seeing
on.
none, go.
All
You
right.
can almost take that out.
Yeah. Usually, especially now, coming to the end of the summer, you can basically take it out. All right.
We haven't really had anybody all summer.
I know, it's been quite summer.
And I
It's
invited
been
a couple
pretty good
people
shape.
today, so I'm really feeling like a loser.
All right, new business. We didn't have any on there, so we'll skip. Admin report, current lake level. Good question. It was high, but now it might be back to where it's supposed to be. I don't know if you know off the top of your head, but let me check it out when it comes up. See if I can get the old interwebs. We obviously had a ridiculous amount of rain, so it did go high for a little bit. I don't know if it's back to where it's supposed to be just yet. Let's see if we can find it. Come on, internet. My phone's not working.
Last I looked, water was going over the dam, so
Yeah, it's going on the top.
we
It's
should be okay.
it's above. It's so 0.106 feet. So times 12. Yeah, well, about 1.5 inches high currently, but it's in the green zone. It's operating fine. It's not too high. So, but lots of rain, obviously. So it's all good. It's been good for the whole month. We only had, I think, one day where it was approaching the upper limit, and it never actually went over. And we had one day where it was low, but overall the whole month was good. Okay, noteworthy complaints from the village. So I didn't see anything specific. I did get an interesting email from Andy that I'm going to read. That is pretty interesting. So just want to pass a couple thoughts along to you and the board. Roy, who's the harvester operator, has conveyed to me that there really isn't much weeds in the lake the last couple weeks. The weeds he's able to harvest are pretty much brown and dying out of the middle of the big hole in the west on Benstein. A lot of comments about how great the lake is this year, and I don't disagree. It's very clear that things are looking good. However, do share some concern with Roy that making sure we don't over-applicate chemical to the healthy aquatic life. If he's having a hard time finding weeds in August, it kind of throws up a red flag for me. So, something to think about. I mean, we do have the harvester running, but if they're running and he's in search, it has been looking good since July, but I don't really know what to do with the information. I mean, there's a balance there saying you don't want to have a bunch of weeds everywhere. So I would say it's my personal opinion is that it's a good problem to have. Usually, we just have tons of complaints, and I think we've had a lot of people that were pretty happy so far this year. So, but something to think about. So one thing he recommended, he said the DNR did a survey in our lake a number of years ago where they put nets in the lake for a certain amount of time, and they pull the survey of aquatic wildlife that's in them. So that could be a possibility if we want to just consider some of that testing in the future into next year, just to keep an eye on it. Like I said, my take on it is we had a pretty rough right into the beginning of July with algae and stuff, and then it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
It's been looking pretty good this year, so open for discussion. That's the only thing. I didn't see any other complaints online or anything significant regarding the lake, but that was something worth at least thinking about.
Is that something Hausler would have some data on? I mean, he does the lake surveys and that stuff, and we can always pose the question, but I like the fact that you got one email like that instead of 512 that tell us that the algae is
Terrible.
Right.
terrible and
Right.
the canal didn't pass.
I was at the last council meeting, and I made a comment about how the harvester and the DPW have done a really nice job on the lake.
Yeah.
That algae, all you need is a lot of sunlight
Yeah. Very little rain and lots of sunlight.
and no wind,
Yeah.
and that stuff just
Yeah.
like snot,
Yeah.
But right now, 5 feet off the end of my dock, I can look right down there and see the bottom.
That's
Yeah.
great.
And
I think one thing that people don't realize is that harvester makes
Yeah.
stuff
Certain
float around.
stuff up,
So,
yeah.
it's all,
Yeah.
I said, tomorrow morning it'll be gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honest.
it's
Right.
It's been looking pretty good. Like anywhere where there's stuff, I mean,
For the heat that we've had this year and sunlight, I really thought it would be worse.
yep.
So we're on the right track.
That was the only comment that I saw. So I don't know if anybody heard
It's
anything else.
interesting.
I guess my only thought with something for this year, with you were talking about the DNR testing for aquatic life, is maybe just reaching out on the Facebook page and seeing if people are talking about not seeing as many fish or something like that, because there's less seaweed,
Yeah.
probably less.
Wasn't there
I mean,
just
I think we could ask Jim. I mean, he's like the lake health person or something. I think that's what we assigned him. We could see
Right.
maybe if he wants to follow up with
Because
however it was tested.
I
I
know
didn't
he
hear
said
what
he did
your
testing.
remark was.
He did testing in with his high school students, so he's pretty familiar with that. And I know Melissa has a background in some sort of what was it? Her degree is in biological science, I believe. So I know she said she's done testing like that too. So the two people that we would ask about, maybe talk to them about it next month and see if they have
Yeah.
any insight.
Well, I'll forward. What I'll do is I'll forward Andy's email to both Melissa and Jim and
Okay.
say, hey, what are your thoughts here?
Did we just have a fishing contest?
Yeah. Get some feedback on that.
I was going to say, because I would imagine there'd be a lot of complaints if the fish life were dying off or there weren't any,
Right.
if the fishing was bad, we're going to hear it at a contest, but nobody caught anything.
What Melissa's last name is Harris?
Harris.
Harris, I believe.
All right. So that was all I saw. I didn't see any other significant
Yeah.
complaints, so I just figured at least bring it up, and I'll have Melissa and Jim kind of follow up on that.
And just for a little bit of background, we have fought this lake at least the 10-ish years that I've been on and off this board. The weeds, what we've been told at least, is that if we let it go for a couple of years, you could just walk across the lake.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's probably not that far from being true,
Yeah.
especially with the invasives.
Yeah.
So, if you can remember, I'm sure you do, back about 8 years ago, we put a chemical called Sonar down.
Yeah.
And Sonar, it basically wipes out the field. And that was a recommendation from Paul Hausler and A&E Progressive. So, it got to that point. So the fact that we have it controlled right now is
it's good.
amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, it
yeah.
really is.
That's what I was saying, because
Yeah. It's good.
weather conditions, that stuff should have been on your front lawn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Good.
Yep. Okay. Moving on. So chairperson report. Just look at the calendar real quick. I usually I can't remember what we'll have on there, but let me just look real quick for the month. So we're in August. Boat count, which I think we skipped. Didn't we skip the boat count?
I think we said we weren't going to do it anymore.
Yeah, we skipped the boat count. We said we'd move it to every other year. So this year we skipped it, and then the fishing tournament happened, right? So that was it. So
Yeah.
that's it. I mean, that's it for the summer. Labor Day was like basically the last day where we do treatment, and then October is the last day for the harvester. So we do have fish stocking that has to come up pretty soon. That discussion comes up. So I'm assuming you're gonna make a recommendation on what we do with that. That's usually in September.
They have.
Yeah.
And like if they say, we got a lot of pickerel,
Yeah.
walleye, whatever, that you might get a break on that.
Yeah.
You know, I think the native fish, like the bass and the pike, northern pike, which we've stocked, are in pretty good condition. But if we can't get the DNR to do a
Survey.
count,
Yeah.
a survey,
Yeah. You're just shooting from the hip anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
Last time I talked to the head of the Lake Erie Southeastern Basin, they said that, which makes sense, they said everything you have in the lake is primarily a predator fish. And there's not the bluegills like we used to have. And they said, I would recommend for the next couple of years just throwing all the minnows that you can in there. And they're cheap. But he said the other thing is, he talked about, he knew the lake. I told him, I said, there's a place on Penny Lake that we could drop some off to kind of spread it out, because typically the fish don't just, swim for an hour and then stop. They kind of hang out where they were at. So, but I'll get more information on that for the next meeting.
Okay. Yeah, so that's usually in September they do it, so I guess let's keep an eye on that. That's the only thing we have. I mean, the big things were the goose roundups and boat count we skipped, first treatments, boater safety courses, all the stuff has already happened. Okay. Continuing business, plant control invasive species. I think we kind of just talked about that. I don't have anything to add there. We had Paul in last year.
We're doing really well,
Yeah,
frankly.
Lake's looking good. Nobody's here. We've had 0 people come in this year with complaints.
Yeah.
If we need more weeds in the lake, it's easy.
We're good.
There's a process for that.
We're good. Harvester discussion. I don't have anything to talk. I think it did go down for a little bit, but I think it's
It went down. There, the hydraulic issue, they're dumping a bunch of hydraulic oil in
Yeah.
there. And then there's a cutter motion issue went down for that too.
Yeah.
That's all back up.
yeah. It's been running. I know there's actually been quite a few posts online. Just like people just like seeing it.
Sure.
They see it and they're like, look at it, thanks. It could cut no weeds, and people love seeing it. So it's out there.
It's just a strange contraption to see, too.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
out there. It's working. People are seeing it. So.
Whatever we're doing is working, and
Yeah.
wherever we're putting the chemical in,
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
the harvester augmenting that,
and
let's not mess with a good thing.
Yeah, I was saying the canal has been good. I've been driving. I go back in that canal whenever I'm taking the pontoon boat out. I go skim back there. It's been looking good too. So.
Yep.
All right, lake enforcement issues. No issues. Do you want to bring up this thing you printed out, just as a FYI?
No, I was just going to give anybody a copy. It's just, it is an FYI. This is a report. I tried to send one to everybody, and I screwed it up. Let's see if we can get it. I'm going to pass one down to...
Yeah, there we go.
And it just talks about the study they'd done on weight boats. Now, the recommendation is this from the MDNR. And you may have already read it. I think everybody got it as an email piece. But
The other concern is I know Cass Lake and other lakes, they write tickets for speeding. We've got jet skis that are doing close to 80 miles an hour. And if we have to get a different radar gun for the police, You know, all you got to do is write a couple tickets and they learn real quick.
Yeah, we've talked about this already, though. You know, we had the police in, they talked about the fact that they have the right gun, and it's a matter of just being there and seeing them and being able to know it. You know, we've brought this up to the chief before, so I don't know that there's anything that we can do beyond, like I said, we had the conversation with them. As far as this report, right, I have the full version open here, but this is Michigan DNR, did a report on basically wake surfing and wake boats in general. It's called Wake Boats, Concerns and Recommendations Related to Natural Resource Management in Michigan. You can see the recommendations here. Basically try and stay 500 feet off of shore, stay in at least 15 feet deep of water, and empty the ballast before you transport your boat on land. So, I mean, the main thing for us is 500 feet from shore. Pretty much nobody surfs. You can't really surf in less than 15 feet anyway, so but 500 feet from shore would be a challenge on this lake since it's super narrow. So
I don't know if you could be anywhere on this lake and be 500. Maybe
basically, if you went right down the middle
then
and
not
turned around on the exact same spot, that'd be
Think so?
You're not 100 feet from the guy going the opposite direction.
No.
It's not possible. for
Yeah.
the majority of the lake.
yeah. So that would be an
Yeah.
extreme challenge. But
I think it's when they turn around is the worst,
yeah.
because they're pushing all that water, and as they turn around, it's like a snowplow, and leave it. I don't get it too bad, but boy, my neighbor's down by the bridge.
Yeah.
That pontoon looks like it's going to come out of the water.
Yeah. Anyway, so they had some recommendations from the Michigan State DNR, right? It's not laws. We don't make the laws.
No.
We're actually grandfathered into our own laws, so I don't know how this actually plays out in any way. The DNR has some laws on the lake, but we're grandfathered into our own, so I think this is more a FYI than anything. If the DNR actually wanted to change something on the lake, that wouldn't come through the water board anyway.
Right.
However, the theme is common. Started in Minnesota, across all the lakes. It's kind of a common theme occurring. So it seems like if you want to surf, you're going to be looking at the bigger lakes. Go move to Orchard Lake, I guess. Orchard and Union. All right.
Somebody asked about lily pads at the last council meeting.
What about?
They felt there's too many. I haven't checked myself, but I believe it.
So you can, if there's a specific area, so since they're native, they don't treat them. But if there's a specific area, or if it's like impeding your dock or something like this, we can call it into Paul and they'll treat them. They'll get rid of them. So you can't. They only do it based on specific complaints. Outside of that, since it's natural, they just let them go. But we've definitely had people that had specific concerns. They can't get their boat in and out and whatever, and then they come and take care of it. So if there's people that have specific complaints, just have them. They could send it into, just send it to the village, but we could get the GPS point map and just they say what point it is, and then they'll take care of it.
Will do.
So it is possible, but they just don't do it naturally on their own since they're native.
Well, good explanation. Will do. Yeah.
So anybody that's out there,
Yep.
got a lily pad problem, they will treat them. Any other lake enforcement issue stuff? Nope. All right, website stuff. So only update there. I sent in a bunch of information to them. They're working on it. Haven't seen anything, but it's still being worked. So I had Dave Gillum collect some information, inlets and outlets of water, all this good stuff. So we sent it over to them. They're building it out. So maybe in the next month or something, we'll get a preview of it. All right. Future business items. Open discussion. We're setting records today.
I know.
End of year. It's great. Anybody, future or other business items? Nothing?
I brought it up.
All
We
right.
talked about the lily
Perfect.
pads.
Lily pads. Done.
See, I thought you were talking about the swim mats when you said that.
The lily pad swim.
No,
That's good branding, then.
I know, right?
Yep. Yeah, those are definitely lily pads. Okay. Liaison report. Council.
Council, we have our playground equipment for Clara Miller Park out for bid.
Oh,
So that's
nice.
exciting. That means that it's moving.
happening.
It's happening.
And they're gonna do the whole. They're gonna like make it almost like Scarlet's, like that. They're gonna level the whole thing out.
No,
No,
no.
they're gonna keep it as is.
Set of monkey bars. Yeah,
What? I thought they were gonna go make it like all ADA compliant and everything.
it is. So if you can picture where the restrooms are,
Uh-huh.
the plan is to set the new equipment just south of there, like directly
Okay.
south where the pavilion and
Okay.
there's an area there.
Kind of where we had the safety thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're gonna set it on top of the septic field so people will quit parking there?
I think yeah, in that area. That's obviously a different board, but
Yeah.
they'll work it out. And,
Sure.
Did you see that? You did. So obviously you didn't see the equipment that we finalized on.
No, I saw the master plan forever ago when
No.
it first wasn't thought
Yeah,
of.
forget that. That was just that master plan is really just that one was kind of a bunch of dreams, and then it allows us to fill those dreams in.
Yeah.
So, what we ended up doing was making it into reality, which is what's going to be there. And I don't know how to describe the equipment, but it's equipment that is accessible for all, or almost all. There's 2 layers of accessibility, and there's one that's really expensive. I mean, we tried, but could not go that far with the funding that we had. But it'll be wheelchair accessible, and to some degree, it'll have the proper entryways. But it's going forward, and that's the big deal. And it's nice looking equipment. Like, it's kind of modern looking. There is a piece, but I don't really know how to explain where it's at. It's nearby that's similar, but
Like at Scarlet's Park.
yeah, similar to that stuff. Yep, similar but different. Yeah, it's nice though.
Cool.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's the type
I
of
mean,
thing
the stuff
that
that's-
you wouldn't want to put together for your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is that.
I'll miss the old school metal.
That's still there.
Then you go to Scarlet's and
I don't
it's
think that's
throttle.
going away.
Hold on.
It's not going
I
away.
didn't say anything about removing a single piece of equipment.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
so,
okay.
yeah, and I'm not on that board, and it's not up to me.
Okay.
I was
So,
gonna say you can go to St. Matthews. They got the.
If you go to Scarlet's, like the one that they have, it's completely like friction throttles, right? You no matter how hard you pull it, it can't go that fast. The one over here, like you can.
so it has a governor on it.
Oh yeah, the one over here, I literally like launch my daughter at it. It's great.
Probably around 40, 50 years ago when we started doing this, one of the things that was a big concern, and I thought it made sense, is to make sure that the equipment is not necessarily close to the road,
Yeah.
but visible from the road,
Yeah.
and not trees blocking it.
Yeah.
So some
People know it's there.
Yeah.
no boogeyman's hanging around in there for kids to go and play.
Yeah, yeah.
That seems like they've done that quite well.
So what's the timing on that? It's like for next year, I'm assuming?
Like I said, yes.
Yeah.
As far as I know, it would be next year. I mean,
But they're
Was that
accepting
grant
bids
funded?
right now.
yes, well, we put out requests for bids, so.
Was that grant funded? Is that like a subcog?
It is. It's a really good deal. We put up a bunch of money, so we had to budget. We had to set aside in our budget some money
Sure.
to, and I want to say it was 200,000, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
And then that is a matching grant. So
Nice.
it's like buy one get one free.
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
Whatever the dollar amount was,
Yeah.
and it works out to being matching or just close to matching. There's some ways where we can end up paying a little bit more than the grant, but it took a lot of work. Dave Gillen worked on it a lot. Obviously, the Parks and Rec Board is
I
responsible.
didn't know that equipment was so expensive.
It's
I guess you
it
gotta
is.
you gotta count for the labor too.
Yeah, and it'll last 40 years, right?
Yeah.
And I don't have the dollar amounts for each thing or anything
Okay,
like that.
cool, that's
but,
good news.
Yeah.
I thought that was exciting because
That
it's
is
been
cool.
been some
Happy to
time.
be there
and-
while my kid will still use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, right now there's nothing there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, cool.
That's nice.
And then we kicked back, so the hot tub ordinances.
Oh, yeah.
So there were quite a few people that have come to the last 2 council meetings and mentioned that they didn't like this law being kind of forced on them is the way that they felt. And so nobody showed up, I guess, to the meetings while this was the public meetings
No.
to mention anything. Is that right?
No?
Okay. But Well, nobody was moving forward. I made the motion that we kick it back to planning, to have it taken a look at again, and it unanimously was voted yes. So it'll go back only because the public can then have their input.
Okay.
They didn't feel that they were properly notified. Legally, they were absolutely properly notified. However, unless you are reading the notification paper, which few do, you wouldn't have known about it. I know it was posted elsewhere.
Well, post it on our website.
Yep, on our
That's what we're
website
gonna
as
talk
well.
about.
And I think, we get a few hundred people a month that look at the website.
I think
Yeah.
it's 500 total.
Moving forward, though, we're going to improve
Okay.
our communication with the public, because what happened is we lost the spinal column,
Right.
and that used to suffice, and it no longer does.
I think they would have to bring it back to council.
They will be. It's going to, well, it's already been to council. We did
No,
not.
but if it wasn't acted on, council doesn't bring it back up again, the people that are petitioning for that are responsible to bring it back to life.
Well, yeah, the planning commission acted on it so that the regulations for hot tubs and spas would be different than that from in-ground swimming pools.
I understand that, but, if every time 10 or 15 residents wanted, a telephone pole removed or something else,
Right.
they'd be going for it. So
Yeah.
unless things have changed, you put something in writing, you bring it to the board. If the board wants to act on it and have a hearing and nobody shows up,
Yeah.
it dies for lack of action. But anyway,
You concerned?
I had a
about-
feeling, and
You concerned?
I had a
about-
feeling, and I read it. It's written well, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I was the person to make the motion because nobody was moving anywhere to even recommend one of them to be.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
if you watched the meeting, it was just a standoff.
Wow.
So
I better watch that before the next planning commission.
I just
meeting.
explained it to you. Everyone said nothing, and everyone waited and waited, and I said, well, I'll make a motion. It quickly got seconded, and then unanimously both went through. So I think everybody was just like, look, if the public wants to have their input, again, this isn't typical. It likely won't happen again, or won't happen often. This is really atypical.
Yeah.
And it's not anything that you guys did. It's simply that
They got blindsided because...
and even Chief entered into the conversation and said, I know how you're reading this. I get it.
Right. Yeah.
But it's really there to help those that want to install their hot tubs.
Yes. Yes.
But some of the language was confusing, the locks and things like that. So this will give you, like you said, you're more than willing to speak with them. And I suggested that at the council meeting, that it's not quite as structured, so
Yeah.
there'll be a bit more of an open conversation.
Yeah.
That's really all I have that's exciting.
okay.
I know your story.
Yeah, but I guarantee you I'll have more to say next month.
Is next month chicken month?
No, next month will be the hot tub month, or this, yeah. We'll have a meeting, I'm sure the folks will be there in a couple of weeks to tell us how they feel about it.
Yeah, I really hope that if somebody, well, hopefully everybody shows up that
Yeah,
was concerned.
well,
That would be-
I would be really disappointed if
Yeah.
you guys end up with an empty crowd.
Yeah, if you-
Then it'll be the last time that
Yeah.
this
Well,
happens.
yeah,
And how
you
many
make a motion
times you
for it,
can-
then nobody shows up.
It's not fair to our volunteers, and
Yeah.
No.
you guys spend a lot of time writing this stuff.
Yeah. Well, how many times you get to step in the batter's box, you know?
Agreed.
So other than that, you don't have anything?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
All right. Comments from the board members.
I think we're setting a record on this meeting.
That's good, man. We're
Yeah.
going to break in 30
Yes.
minutes. I'm going to take that.
That's right.
If there's no complaints and things are going okay,
I know.
I like you guys, but not that much to sit around for.
Yeah. That's all
All
right.
right, motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.